दर्शक बंधु नमस्कार। कैंडिड इंटरफेस को स्वागत। आज आम गहणर अच्छा श्री देबाशिष दासगुप्ता, पूर्वतन चीफ इनकम टैक्स कमिश्नर। आज आमर आलोचनार विषय है एक्सपीरियंसेस ऑफ अ सिविल सर्वेंट। आमर श्री दासगुप्ता को फर्स्ट प्रश्न है, इन 1975 you are selected as a civil servant in the Department of Income Tax. So you joined in the Income Tax Department as a probationer. What was your feelings and response in 1978? Could you please recollect? I am sure the audience will be very happy to listen to you.
It was actually not 75 but 1978 that we were selected for the post of income tax officers to be trained at Nagpur. So when we got the news, it was definitely one of joy, and basically there was also lot of excitement that I will be able to bring for my family and for my friends oranges from Nagpur. So that apart, there was some sense of fear or trepidation in my heart, because the locality, the town was new, people with whom I would be spending 1 year, they were new, and I had never come. I am going to come across people from all walks of life, from all places over India, and how I will interact with them, how they will interact with me. All these questions were there, but gradually we landed up there and things become smooth sailing for all of us.
And you enjoyed your days in Nagpur, I am sure.
All probationers, whosoever goes, wherever they go, whether it is Mussoorie for IAS officers or for us academy, National Direct Taxes Academy, we enjoy our stay there, though too much enjoyment at times delays the training program and delays your joining the department. Okay. That problem is there.
Wonderful. You are in different positions in the income tax departments, right from a probationer to the chief commissioner of income tax in Calcutta. Now what I would like to tell you, you will understand, is with your nearly 4 decades of experience in the income tax department, you must have had a lot of experiences, lot of excitements, lot of achievements, many incidents, which I am sure if you narrate over here, I am sure the viewers will be very happy to listen to you.
Now so far as achievements are concerned, I don't think I should speak or you should hear it from my own mouth. That is not fair.
Right.
Especially when there is a stigma associated with civil servants that they are neither civil nor they act as a servant, they act as masters. But that joke apart, one achievement I would like to share with you, because I know how difficult it is to get money from the government.
Right.
It is very difficult, but thanks to my stars, thanks to my colleagues, thanks to my seniors, because of investigations, searches made all over India, government rewarded me with the maximum amount of cash reward that was possible during that time, that is 10 lakhs. And that was something which I think was more than a crore for me, because it was a rare distinction. And so far as other aspects of job are concerned, immediately after coming from Nagpur, where we are trained, when we joined, I found, gradually I discovered, day by day I discovered that there is a difference between what you learn and when you put them to practice, actual practice in the field.
Okay.
There is a difference between the book language, book knowledge and the real knowledge that you have to develop at the
Yeah,
field.
you face day to day in life.
Yeah, that is I think is true for all professions, maybe journalism,
Yeah.
maybe medicine, maybe engineering. So, training gives you the basics on which to build up your own priorities, your own ethics, your own comfort system and your own skills also.
Right.
So, in that way there are two discoveries and we were never, which we were never told in the academy or in Nagpur, and that first discovery that went with I went on discovering that every day, every night till I retired was nobody willingly pays taxes. There is a human tendency not to pay taxes as far as possible. Now, even in my case, I being such a senior officer a few years back, when suddenly I was saddled with 2 lakhs tax to be paid because the postal department has not deducted taxes, they do not deduct tax as you know. So, I wanted to offer it, but it pinched me. So, it is very natural, and except one incident in my life which still I remember very vividly, I have never seen any person including me willingly paying taxes.
Right.
And that image of a person whom I remember was an old lady, maybe when I met her she was in her 70s, and those who have gone to Calcutta might have seen lot of big buildings, castles like buildings in near Dalhousie opposite the park or opposite that tram depot. There are so many old buildings.
Old building.
She won one of those buildings, being connected to the king of Nepal. She was a widow, and this I will narrate after as we progress in our discussion.
Right.
But I was waiting for her, I remember her because I was waiting for her for some work. Suddenly I found somebody in her 50s accompanied by a chartered accountant came to my room in a wintry morning, and she said, I want to offer some taxes, I want to pay my taxes, this is my money, this much money I have, it may be maybe little less than 1 lakh, maybe 80,000, 90,000 in those days. I am talking about 1980 or 81. And I came to know that her profession was income from prostitution. She has now become old, her daughter is grown up, she wants to build a house or buy a house, she wants to pay the taxes, whatever she has earned. And I was a boy of 23, 24 at that time. So, I didn't know how to handle this case. Next day I went, met my senior, asked him that this lady wants to offer taxes from her profession and her profession is this. Can we accept if something which is not strictly legal, can we accept that money which has an illegal source? And my boss was sympathetic, told me that such cases will come in life, you have to handle it yourself. So, ultimately I took the decision that no matter whether it is legal or illegal, if it is an income, then taxes follow naturally to this income. So, that is the only lady, that person is the only person in my life whom I remember having willingly coming to my office and offering tax. In none other case, we had to chase people, asking them to pay, coercing them to pay, saying that the minister wants more advance tax, please pay a little more, our budget is suffering, like that. So, this we were not taught in the profession when we were probationers. So, that was one important
one of the
incident.
incidents which you faced in life.
Yes.
And you tackled it so nicely. Great. Now, one little thing I would just like to ask you. You belong to Sundargarh, and you will appreciate that Sundargarh is a princely town. Could you please recollect those days, princely state, and your old memories and how you felt there in Sundargarh? And you can always create a sort of a synergy between what you were then and what it is now today. I am sure it will be of interest to all of us.
Now, Sundargarh, earlier known as Gangpur state, was integrated with the rest of India on 15th December 1947, if I am right, if my memory is right. On 15th December, we integrated with the rest of India. Prior to that, it was a princely state. So, when I was born in free India, and when I was born, maybe I was 10, 12 years old, there was still a king, and state police will guard his palace, and when he will be in the town, a red light will go up in the palace, which will be visible from afar, and will see it, and people will talk in hushed voice that the king is in the town. So, we used to look at the king even post independence with awe and wonder. There was another person, a very young, maybe in his late 20s, and he was called district collector. He did not have any of the grandeur that the king had during those times, though he had some special privileges. So, for us, the comparison was between the collector and the king, and I was told, or we were told, that you cannot be a king even if you try, because you are born into the king's family and become a king. But if you try, you can be an IAS officer and be like the collector. So, the only option available to us was to appear in the civil service and try for this IAS. And so, whenever the collector will be in the town, or most of the time he was in the town, we used to meet him, try to get some inputs, but we never had the occasion to meet the king. And his privileges, the last king was Udit Pratap Shekhardeo, who was also a minister in the cabinet of independent India. And you might be knowing, or many may not be knowing, that when Rourkela steel plant came up, he contributed 100 acres of his private land. Remember, it is not the state land, it is the private, his own private land, for the development of schools, colleges, hospitals, government buildings, quarters in the Udit Nagar area, and the township was known as Udit Nagar, though I find nowhere it is mentioned.
So, he was a very magnanimous person.
He was a very magnanimous person,
yeah,
and always looked those who were good at studies to give them scholarship for higher education.
Yeah, great.
And but more than him, his grandfather, his father was Bhavani Shankar Shekhardeo, after whose name the Bhavani Shankar High School was founded, where we studied. And remember, it is going to complete 100 years. So 100 years back he had a high school.
My God.
He had a girl, he had also one girls education was also an important thing for him, and he could think of that without female education there cannot be development of the society. So he had a high school also for the girls. That was his father, but the town or the capital Sundargarh was founded by his father, that is Raghunath Shekhardeo, who ruled almost from 1897 to 1917, long years.
Long years, yeah.
And many also I found out from the Sundargarh Gazette the other day, I was going through it, that when this Bengal Nagpur railway was being constructed by the British, he gave land for the construction of the building, railways.
I think that was in the year 1853.
Yes, yes.
Yeah.
And also not only land, also gave materials for the construction of the railways. Okay. And people say that railways were made just to transport army from Calcutta to Madras or Bombay. But just see, after the railways came, the dolomite industry and other minerals that the king had in Rajanpur area, there is huge exploitation, and suddenly the state become cash reached, and it could have lot of schools, lot of college, lot of hospitals, lot of government buildings. Even the Kacheri, which was constructed during his time, is one of the best that you can see, model after British people.
What is your view on the Indian bureaucracy? Since you have spent a lot of nearly 4 decades in the bureaucracy, what's your view on this?
Now I have a mixed feeling or views on bureaucracy, because bureaucracy has given me sustenance, it has made me what I am, it has helped me to grow to my potential. So I am really indebted to bureaucracy, and I have never felt like criticizing bureaucracy for the sake of criticism. And I have told my friends who are very critical about bureaucracy that why don't you leave bureaucracy if you are so unhappy. Later on I discovered that it is their habit to be critical, so no more importance was given. But over the years I have found, and this is my message to the also to the policy makers and to the civil service aspirants, you need lot of intelligence to join this service. If you want to join civil service, you need lot of intelligence. By intelligence, as you know, medha, what we call medha. But to continue in this service, you need not intelligence. What you need is mediocrity. Mediocrity, as you know, in Oriya it is called madhyama dharanara buddhi,
Jnana.
Jnana. And if you want to successfully end your career as say chief secretary or as chief commissioner or as chief of Central Board of Direct Taxes, you need lot of brilliance. Now brilliance is in a sense, he is a brilliant boy, he is a brilliant boy. I am not talking brilliance in that sense. Brilliance, the Oriya will be vichakshonata. Now why this man is going to be the chief secretary and why not me? Why this man is going to be the chief commissioner and why not me? We are both of same grade and rank. So there the brilliance comes into play. That brilliance, unless you have, you cannot be the top man. But contrast this many things, lot of waters have flown under the river Mahanadi. But remember, I still have gone through a writing where Sardar Vallabhbhai Patel was addressing the first meeting of the newly recruited IAS officers in India. ICS have gone, IAS officers have come. And he listened to them for 10-15 minutes and said, "Gentlemen, if you agree to all that I say, I don't need any one of you in next meeting. I have called you so that you give your independent views on the matter I have raised, for that is your role for which I have called you." Now, that thing is now lacking in bureaucracy. We are afraid to give our independent views. We first judge what is the view of my boss, what attitude he has, and we give him an advice or a suggestion which will be of his liking. And that is the problem of bureaucracy.
Where the problem of bureaucracy really rises.
And that is where the policy makers should understand that by this we are harming a very important pillar of our strength, that is bureaucracy. Now, why did I call that you need lot of intelligence, a lot of mediocrity to continue in this bureaucracy? Why suddenly intelligent officers become mediocre? They still remain intelligent, but they show mediocrity. There is a very interesting example in my own career, in my own life. Two engineers came to assist. They were good in, one was good in electronics, another was good in computerization. Now, those are the days when TCS has failed in our bid to computerize and Infosys has not come in. In between, these two boys, both of them engineers, were doing tremendously good work and successfully computerizing our records, taxpayers information system, and hell of a lot of good things being done to the department. Now, they have to often go to Delhi to demonstrate. His bosses, which included the chief commissioner, they didn't like it. Why they didn't like it? And the problem becomes so acute that both of them had to come to me because I was in charge of training and said, "Sir, we want to be under you because training is a very cozy place.
Yeah.
We don't want to be in limelight." Now, your boss, if he is less intelligent than you, will never like an intelligent subordinate working under him because he will steal the limelight. So, you are a threat to him. So, that is why a stupid boss will always like you to remain stupid.
Now, what I would like to ask you is, when we talk of economic development in India, you must have noticed, we are talking of, giving a lot of emphasis to tax collection, revenue collections, and at the same time, on the other hand, you will find we are also giving a lot of, freebies, subsidies. What's your viewpoint on this?
Now, there is lot of, I have felt that there is lot of cruelty involved in the matter of tax collection. Earlier I said nobody willingly pays tax, but when a rich man pays, you don't mind. Now, I had started one story which I said I will complete it later, and that story was about that building that was in Dalhousie, to which I had referred in the beginning of my discussion. There was a 70-year-old lady. He had a big building. The building itself would have fetched 5 crores to 10 crores during those times. But he had the tenants that she had were not paying or were paying very little rent,
Paltry sum.
very paltry sum. So, a lady who is supposed to be very rich because she is in possession of a lot of wealth, but very poor because she has no income, and there was wealth tax at that time. So, she had an outstanding demand of some 4,000 or something, which I attached. And when she came to my office, 70-year-old lady coming to my office, requested me that I am a widow, part of me tenants do not pay me even the rents that they are supposed to pay, they pay it in court, taxes, litigation is going on. Please come once to my house and see in which condition I live. But still, against all my will, I collected that 100,076 rupees or something, and that still haunted me, that with what difficulty we collect taxes and with what ease government wastes that money, or even individuals waste that money or takes away their money or cheats that money that belongs to the public, that belongs to the taxpayer, that belongs to the state.
Absolutely.
So, freebies, when it comes to freebies, it is done from the taxpayers' money, maybe income tax, maybe goods and services tax, because poor people also pay taxes.
Right, right.
Well, government has to be extremely careful that what kind of freebies constitute freebies.
It should be done with utmost caution.
Or utmost caution and application of mind. Now, most of us might have heard about a name, Abhijit Banerjee, who got Nobel Prize on economics few years back. Now, he says we want to give polio vaccine to our children, but the villagers are not forthcoming, they do not come to the vaccination center. Now, if I add a freebie to this, that if you take a vaccine, I will give you 1 mosquito net free or 1 kg of dal free, then it is not a freebie. It is an encouragement, and she will come for the sake of getting 1 share of dal and get her son vaccinated.
Thank you so much. Now, we are at the fag end of our discussion. I would request Sri Dasgupta to kindly give a inspiring message to all our viewers.
Now, I do not know how inspiring the message will be, but to the policy makers as well as to the civil servants, aspirants, I will say that once, not only aspirants, once you become a civil servant, in whatever position you are, in whatever station of life you are, remember that your motto should be largest or greatest amount of good to the greatest number of people.
Wonderful. Thank you so much, Sri Dasgupta, for spending time with us. Namaskar, Darshak Bandhu.